Gail, that would be me. And Lisa, or friends, I guess. And my friend today is Lisa. Lisa Duerre. I feel like I got tangled up on the words there for a minute, Lisa, because I was over on the other side trying to get into Instagram. And I was listening. So today, Lisa and I've already spent a few hours together today. And I want to talk about that in a little bit. But I learned a lot from Lisa today when not knowing I was going to. Can you imagine that? So I'm Gail Straker. I am the community manager for Lipedema Simplified. And my guest today is Lisa Duerre. And Lisa is the managing director of Lipedema Simplified and then some. I'm going to let her tell you what the and then some is.
Would that be now, Gail? Shall we do the and
Yeah.
then some
Go
now?
ahead.
Yeah. I love this so much. I'm already seeing faces here. It's so good. Stormy and Tamara and Sing It and Marilee. Oh my gosh. Who am I? Gail Straker, Lisa Duerre here. Yeah, I'm the managing director at Lipedema Simplified, also Lipedema Project. We have the nonprofit arm, and then we have the membership side. You know what else I do? I'm the CEO of RLD Group. Gosh darn it. So that's a consulting and coaching firm that helps leaders in tech prevent burnout, increase inclusion for the well-being of the company and the humans inside. Besides that, I'm a woman living with lipedema, figured it out 2 years ago, and I am so happy to be in a wellness conversation with Gail. Are you kidding? Yes, please.
Yep. And you're a mom of a
Oh, yep, I'm
teenager.
a mom. I have a 12-year-old. She's
Oh,
almost a teenager. She's fabulous and fun, and I love her. And yeah, I'm a working mom. I've been married almost 19 years, and I have a dog named Yogi.
and you have been making quite a name for yourself lately in the lipedema world over here. You went to Potsdam, Germany, um, for the World Congress, the
I
first
did.
Lipedema World Congress, in October with Siobhan Huggins, our research specialist, um, and Dr. Matthew Carmody,
Yeah.
our medical advisor. Guys took the World Congress by storm.
We did, and it was awesome. And Gail, I've never met you in person. I cannot wait to meet you, but I got to hang out with the amazing, brilliant, mind-blowing Siobhan Huggins and the
Right?
kind-hearted, not tell you all the answers, learn with you, advisor to us, Dr. Matthew Carmody, as well as all of the researchers that were there, the surgeons that were there, the patient advocates that were there. I was honored to host a roundtable where we were looking at what conservative treatments actually help, and we were sharing our lived experience. I wore a dress with no sleeves and it wasn't down to my feet. And I felt so alive, and so in my zone of purpose, as a learner and as an advocate. And yeah, I'm Lipedema Simplified and Lipedema Project made that happen. So yeah,
Yeah. Isn't it crazy that that was over 6 months ago?
I know, right?
I know it
Yeah.
feels like forever. I mean, and since that trip back to into Germany, have you done only one or have you done two heart to heart events with us?
Yeah, I've spoken at two and I facilitated two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, I know. So you really are
It's like in
making
dog years almost, right? When it just there's so much goodness. And you know what's interesting as a speaker, I have to say, the first time I didn't go to the whole experience of a heart-to-heart conference that Lipedema Simplified runs. I went in as a speaker. I was so nervous about telling my story. It's the first time I publicly shared about lipedema. I showed pictures, right? I just tried to highlight what it's like being new to lipedema and stepping into this. And the warm embrace I got from the community, the learning I got from just even the comments in my own session. I went, what, where have you been all my life? To speaking again and then to be asked to facilitate. Um, it's one of the greatest gifts I've ever received to hold space for people who are navigating and this disease and to be around experts that Lipedema Simplified and Lipedema Project bring in, by the way, and the experts inside the organization itself. So for me, I facilitate workshops all the time. I moderate panels all the time with tech leaders. That's that's what I've been doing for decades. But there's just something special about the community of Lipedema Simplified and these heart-to-heart events, Gail. I sometimes after I facilitate, I'm exhausted, but after these, I am on fire and lit up with hope and joy and feeling connected with other people. And I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to bring my skill set into this space too.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. I remember the first back in October when you first we needed you to pretty much facilitate things because Catherine was so ill, and it was plugged into your lap. And you
Mhm.
called me and I said, I'll be here.
Yep.
I'll be here. So as community members, as team members, if somebody has something that's going on and we reach out and we're like, we're here, we're holding you up. We know that it was a big, oh, okay, I gotta prep myself, right? And
Yeah.
here's the crazy thing, because we do everything on Eastern time and you're in the Pacific
Yeah.
and Pacific time. And so that's a 3-hour difference. And so you were getting up bright and early and having those meetings, making sure your day was going to run and
Mhm.
everything. And the whole time I was just in awe
Mhm.
because nobody could tell you had any nerves going on at all. So
Mhm.
today we talked about something with our heart guides, and we're going to talk about what heart guides are in a minute. But we did a burnout prevention workshop today.
Mhm.
We gave it as a gift to our beautiful heart guides. I say we, I had nothing to do with it. It was you. You gave it as a gift to our heart guides. And I was one of them. And we talked about energy
Mhm.
and what energizes us, what resources us, the stress. And everybody was going, it depletes me. Stress depletes me. Stress depletes me. And a few of us were going, well, stress energizes me. And then but it doesn't energize me enough. And then
Mhm.
I get depleted. And I think that's what happened with you at that first heart to heart you went to. You were like, okay, now I'm done. Because you always bring on such an amazing amount of energy.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, Gail, because I still this last heart to heart, because it was my second time when we were all done, and nobody wants to hang up when they're done because it's so nice to connect and get all this insight to build your own. I call it choose your own adventure with how you manage lipedema for yourself. When it was done, I called my husband. He's in the other room. I'm like, okay, let's go celebrate. Like I didn't go lay down to go to bed. I was like, well, this was amazing. Look what we did, right? Look what
Oh
the
my
community did, and then we went out for a meal, and I'm like, how lucky am I to get to do work that energizes me to that point? Now, did I sleep well that night? Yes. Right? Because I want to hold space for every voice, for every person, for every conversation, and stay on time.
right,
Right? I want to
right,
hold space and stay on time. And the community that is curated here is just there's nothing like it I've ever seen. There's so much heart and care. There's so much heart and care. So yes, the first one, when it was done, because I didn't have the runway, I was like, oh, and I went to bed. The second one, I went out and celebrated.
yeah, yeah. It's really amazing when you brought up the word resource. How can you resource yourself? How can you? And I thought a lot about. I've been thinking a lot about that today since we had
Yeah.
it. And but I've actually watched you live this in
Mm.
process, and you're such an example for us. And you walk the walk, you talk the talk, and you walk the walk. And you live the life. And as a lipedema patient, lipolipedema patient, you have a job to do as well, and you find ways to make sure that you keep your energy levels where they need to be so that you can be successful in your life and at your best.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, thank you. Here's something I'm going to admit to myself and everyone else. I've burnt out 3 times. So I've not figured this all out for myself, but I know what to look for, and then I know if I miss it, how to get back. And I also know that one of the things that I have to really think about is what am I modeling to my daughter? right?
Mhm.
She's watching me as a working mom. She's watching me as a lipedema patient and an advocate. She's seeing me as a wife. It's really important that for me, that one of the things is that I'm in integrity and what she's seeing. Um, she sees what self-care is, and she sees that when I'm tired, I rest, or when I need help, I ask. I want a world for her where it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to talk about it. Right? Because I didn't do that's how I burnt out is I isolated, I was depressed, right? And I just kept thinking I have to do it all. I couldn't possibly, ask for help or say no. And I learned that the hard way after a medical leave, right? And so yeah, it's important to me.
And it makes me wonder how many people who are here today either feel like they are in burnout or moving close to it or just, and what is burnout? How would you describe it? What would you call, okay, you're in burnout when? I mean, is there
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's almost like a buzzword. Oh, Paige, boy, these things sound familiar, right, Paige? Yeah. Hey, Paige, Marsha's here. Oh, Marsha, we missed you today. I'm so glad you'll get the recording too. And yeah, Paige, thank you. Sandra, oh yeah, new baby goat in your lap. That's amazing,
no, I want one. No, I
right? We
don't.
got
No, I don't.
Louisiana,
No,
Wisconsin, Kathleen and Jody. Yeah, so I would love to involve the audience for a second before I answer. So for
okay.
those of you here, um, how would you describe the difference between stress and burnout? Let's see what people say, and then I'll chime in. But the wisdom is in the system, everybody, right? We know this. And I think right now burnout is a phrase that gets misunderstood, mislabeled. So I'm just curious
Well,
what people think.
I'll share a little story with you real quick.
Yeah.
I was on a cruise one year. I go on cruises on occasion, and we were seated at a table, and I introduced myself. Um, my husband, I guess I said I was a retired school teacher, and I said, "No, wait a minute. No, I'm a burnt out math teacher." Because that's
Right.
what it was. I hit burnout and I'd promised myself. I'd watched my children, my own biological offsprings that I was raising in this world as middle schoolers and teenagers, and I had watched them go through a school year with teachers in burnout
Yep.
and how those my own children struggled.
Mhm.
And I had made myself a promise. I was 35 when I graduated from college and got my teaching degree, and I'd made myself a promise, when I go into burnout, that's it, I'm out,
Mhm.
because I thought that burnout was permanent.
Oh,
I thought if you were
interesting.
I
Yeah.
thought if
It
you
feels
were
permanent.
yeah, and but what I had witnessed is I saw people go through burnout for so many years,
Mhm.
right? That they never came back.
Yep.
And so I thought that teacher burnout is freaking real.
Gail,
I
it's
tell you.
very real.
And
Yes.
so when I started going through burnout, I said, "No, I'm not renewing my contract," and I walked away from teaching.
Mhm.
That was in 2004, so I made it 9 years.
I
But
think a
I
lot
was
of people feel that
so
way.
terrified of damaging saying, "Oh, yeah, sure, I'll do next year," and
Mhm.
then damaging a year's worth of students
Yep.
after another year worth of students, because I thought it was a permanent thing. I didn't know
Wow.
that you could actually bounce back
Mhm.
from burnout. I had no idea.
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing that so much, Gail, because the thing that, we all know, hey, all of us from the medical system living with lipedema, the doctors are burnt out. The system is pressed beyond anything. The leaders I work with in tech are burnt out. The pressure is real, right? And so to think it's permanent is definitely going to affect your the way you look at it, right? So for me, one of the things that I didn't know I was burnt out, I thought something else was wrong. I had all these other physical symptoms. I went to the hospital thinking I was having a heart attack. Brought my laptop. By the way, hear this one. Brought my laptop in there, calling my husband with my daughter at home. Hey, just making sure I'm not having a heart attack, but I got this project I got to finish tonight because I have to present tomorrow. And my husband was so mad at me, like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" Right? No, no, my colleague's here. We took a selfie and I sent it to my boss. I said, "Don't worry, it'll get done before tomorrow." Because I had this like responsibility, codependent responsibility thinking I have to do it. So when the doctor couldn't find anything wrong, it turned out I was allergic to an antibiotic I had forced my doctor to give me because I had bronchitis for 3 weeks and I was tired of coughing. and I traveled a lot. So when I went to the follow-up meeting with my regular primary care, he sat me down and I felt so ashamed that I couldn't keep it all together and I was maybe overreacting about a heart attack. And he said, Lisa, you have Silicon Valley itis. I just looked at him like, I don't know. Now, no one's heard of lipedema, but has anyone heard of Silicon Valley itis, right?
Yeah.
And I looked at him and he goes, you have burnout. This is typical in tech, right? It's this always on, never good enough, we'll replace you tomorrow, which is the phrase I use in my podcast, Control Alt Delete, because I rebooted from burnout. And I just looked at him like, what? Is this like a dirty secret? He goes, no, everybody knows, but no one talks about it. And so at
Right.
that point, much like when I learned about lipedema, I wanted to talk about it. So I have more to say, but I can see the chat blowing up and I really want to give people a chance to bring their voices in. So what does Tamara say? Let's see. I feel like burnout is when I'm unable to move forward, where stress like pressure, I can move forward. Like a good bottle of champagne, I work well under pressure. Yeah, you know what, Tamara? It's so interesting. So we were doing the workshop today. So this is what we did today. Pause, notice, and choose well-being, right? For the well-being and burnout prevention. And we were talking about how stress can be a resource to you and a depleting factor, right? So what you're talking about might be rise to the challenge, right? So if you rise to the challenge, the stress is a resource to you. But over time, if you don't rest and reset, then you can't move forward. So I love your comment. Thank you for sharing that. Is there another one in here, Gail, you want to bring up?
Yeah, I want to bring up pages. It says burnout. You almost stop caring about the thing that burned you out. Stress still persistently occupies all of your mind, and burnout numbs the brain to the point you can't even find your bootstraps to pull them up.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the hallmark signs of burnout is cynicism, and Paige hit it right here. You stop caring. You get cynical. Like, why bother? No one's going to make it better. It is what it is. And you just really start to shut down. I bet you felt that as a teacher, Gail. Like,
Oh, yeah, I did. But here's the thing. So you guys all watched me go through burnout this year with Guy and his surgeries over the last year. And pretty soon I'd be sitting there, Aunt Sandy and I'd be talking and I'd go, I don't care.
mhm.
I don't care. I don't give a crap.
Yep.
I don't care. I don't care. And it was like that was my go-to. And you know what? It felt good.
Mhm.
Felt good just go, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not dealing with this stuff anymore.
Yep.
You know?
It's
And
like
as
it's
I
too much, right? There's just too much. Yep.
and she'd go, I'm getting worried about you. I don't care if you're worried about me.
You know what? I
I'm
feel
good
you.
with this
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But I've come through it, and I cannot tell you, I thought, "Oh gosh, I'm in burnout. I need to do something." I didn't have words,
Mhm.
but I saw myself. I had one day in therapy where I shirt cried. That's
Oh,
this,
yeah. Yep.
where you're inside your clothes,
Yep.
and my therapist said, I was starting to think, "Okay, what do I do if she ends up in the fetal position inside of her clothes on the
Mhm.
floor?" And she goes and I said, "And what would you do?" She goes, "I would have just let you go." And I'm like, "Thank you," because I was safe enough, but I actually climbed inside my clothes. I
Yeah.
couldn't deal with it anymore. And it wasn't just Guy's surgery.
Yeah.
This year got a little on the rough side for me, and it was too much,
Yep.
right? And so I know that I went through burnout this year, and I'm on the other side of it, and I'm rebooted, and I'm ready to go again, but yeah, it was
Mhm.
tough.
Yeah, I'm just gonna ask you this and we'll bring another voice in, but are you aware of what you did to come out of it? Because I think one of the gifts we can give ourselves is we know how to get out of it. We just don't prioritize it. We know sleep is important. We know hydration is important. We know movement is important. Blah blah blah, right? But somehow, Gail, you didn't care. You're crying in your shirt in the fetal position, trying to cocoon yourself from not one more thing being asked of you. Right? Because the demands on you are exceeding are greater than the resources you have available. Time, money, energy, thinking process, because that all goes offline. But maybe you can drop in here right now. Are you aware of what you did to shift from I don't care fetal position to look at
So,
me go?
yeah, I know what day it happened when I snapped out, and it was, December 16th, and I was in the car with my, daughter who's 39, and I was taking her back to her vehicle. I had just finished my Christmas um, show,
Oh,
and we'd done the Christmas show. We'd all gone out to dinner. She had left her car at the venue, and so I was taking her back to her car. And she said, "Mom, Daddy's worried about you."
mm,
And I'm like, "Why?" Right? And she started telling me how he saw me, and I didn't know.
yep,
And so I came home and I stood in front of him. Well, I don't know what he was watching, but I stood in front of him. So he turned it off and I said, "Beth says you're worried about me." And he goes, "I am, but I don't know how to help." And I said, "Well,
mhm,
I can't do this alone." And then so I pulled my family in. And so Al, my youngest, came in and said, "I'm ready to help you."
yep,
Guy was ready to help me. I had to go, "I can't do this alone."
yep.
And it's been different since.
That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful, Gail, because what I know to be true too is that we keep it all in, we hold it all together, and then all of a sudden you can't function anymore. And it's like your family can. My husband didn't know how to talk to me about this either, by the way. He had no idea how to talk to me about burnout. And when the doctor said, okay, so I went to the thing, Silicon Valley-itis moment. I'm going to put you on medical leave. I said, no, no, no. I have a really big event I'm running. It's 3,000 customers. You can't put me on medical leave. My husband's looking at me like, you can go now, like right now. And I'm like, I'm arm wrestling and negotiating. So I asked for 3 weeks. I took the medical leave and I kept working anyway. And my husband sat me down, brought me back to the doctor and said, you're working on a medical leave. That's illegal, right? You shouldn't be doing this, right? That's not how medical leaves work. Whatever word he used, it's unethical or something. And then he said, and if you don't, it's like, I can't get through to you. I can't help you if you. And so the doctor said, Lisa, this is how bad it's going to get. And we decided what I had to do for help was I had to get off my phone. And so I had a company phone and my husband hid it from me and turned it off. And then he went and got me my own phone. And then he literally just let me sleep. I slept like 12 hours a day for weeks at a time. And I think the thing that's really hard, especially with lipedema, we're already feeling broken and scared and overwhelmed with the condition. We already can't move easy or we're worried about it progressing. And now we're supposed to say to our friends, family members, can I get some help? It's really a hard thing to do. And yet without asking for help, you're literally on that path because you can't do this all by yourself. And whatever that help is, whether it's outsourcing something like, or making it easy to have an easier dinner one night because it's too much work, or when I cook now, I sit in a chair. I don't stand in the kitchen anymore. Like modifying your environment, all of that matters. But yet we know you can see burnout in your friends and family. You know what's up. They're cynical. They're super grumpy, very testy. They're foggy brained. They can't remember details. They're not themselves. And what used to bring them joy no longer does. And it's a result of chronic stress. There's no rest and reset going on.
Mm,
So, yeah.
right.
Should we bring another voice in here? Because I see
Yeah, we've
so
got,
much
oh my
here.
gosh. I do want to say Kenny and Julie Stewart just got home from the hospital from,
Yay!
from Kenny's treatment. So thanks. Let's see. So we have Juanetta says that her burnout is manifesting as procrastination in certain areas of life, which is
Big
very
time.
unlike her.
That's very common. Like you just don't care anymore. Like you said, Gail, right? Procrastination in some areas is like, I'll get to it later or not right now, or just I'll deal with it later. Juanetta, thank you for sharing that. It's a very common experience for people in burnout. And the good news is when you can see that, then should I give a tip right now? How about a tip?
Yeah.
So instead of like, here's all what's wrong, how about we talk about what you can do?
Okay, let's do that.
Right? So what we did today, Gail, with the team was we first had people just assess, where are you right now? Are you scan your body, scan your thoughts, scan your energy. Like if I'm weepy, I'm not okay, right? Or if I'm angry, I might not want to be so angry in that next meeting. So just scanning and the questions we gave, let me just say, like, where am I? I'll just show you. Where am I? 1 to 10, right? 10 is everything's awesome and I'm open and curious. And 1 is I'm closed and defensive or committed to being right. Because when you're committed to being right, there's no way to move the needle. It's my way. I'm right. Right. So even scanning and just allowing yourself to be with wherever you are is a wonderful thing you can do. And then the second thing we talked about was how might you recognize those demands that are on you and how depleted you're feeling, and then ask yourself, how might I give myself some energy or some time back or some rest? Like what matters most right now was one of the conversations we had today, but it requires reflection, right?
Hmm.
And honesty with yourself. Yeah.
That really does. And actually, I'm using your I'm at my best when. Um,
Ooh.
yeah, because you said I'm able to be my best when I can get rest,
Yep.
when I need it, right? And so during our CSIG that we have going on right now, the homework assignment for the attendees is that for them to answer, look at it almost like a journal entry as they
Mhm.
climb into bed or take a few moments to think about things when they're pumping, when they're fixing meals or whatever,
Mhm.
I'm at my best when,
Yay.
right? And so that
Yeah,
was their homework assignment for the week. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they come up with on Friday at our coaching session.
that's
But
great.
um, and Paige wants to know, what is this class you speak of, Lisa?
Oh, Paige. Yeah. So for my RLD group, my company, we are a company that is in the business of preventing burnout in organizations and helping leaders thrive from an inclusive and well-being perspective, because we care about the hearts of the humans inside the organizations. So when we had the Heart Guides do the event, the 3-day heart to heart conference, they held all the space for people in those breakout rooms. I went to Gail and I said, I want to give them, they've given so much. I want to give them something, can I run this workshop for the team? And she said, yes. So I brought the RLD group burnout prevention workshop into the Lipedema Simplified community for the Heart Guides. And because I'm a lipedema patient, it was really fun for me to be able to talk about burnout through the lens of lipedema care, management, uncertainty, all that goes with this disease. And thank you for asking, Paige. It's something we do regularly all the time, but I've never done it for a lipedema group before. So it was
And it
like I was whole. It was a wholeness moment for me.
and it was really nice because it wasn't well, it was a fairly large group. We had 18, I
Yeah, it
think.
was a yeah, it was a great size.
But it was and what was crazy, this was like the major crazy thing, okay? We're all there. We're all heart guides. Guess who all wanted to be in breakout rooms?
Mm-hmm. Heart guides,
Right? They're
right?
like, "Oh," I'm like, "Lisa, you didn't put me in a breakout room. You put me in one. Put me in one."
Yeah, Gail's like, let me in. I want a breakout. It was great. Yeah,
So
because the way
so
we
it
facilitate is to get the connection. So burnout prevention, one thing you can do is connect with someone who understands. And that's
right,
what you all do as heart guides. That's what this lipedema simplified community is. Understanding, insight,
yeah.
and learning from each other. It's a
And
beautiful burnout
and
prevention tool.
and you had us find an artifact that explained what we felt like when we were kind of in the least effective, right?
Mhm. Yep.
Can you guys see what this is?
Is that a knife?
It's not,
Oh.
um, it's a box cutter.
Mhm.
It's pretty sharp anyway. So when I'm at my least effective, when I'm at my rottenest, right? When
Mhm.
I don't know how to say it, my least effective,
Yeah.
right? I'm sharp.
Mhm.
I'm folded in on myself. I'm hard. I'm closed. I'm, "Urgh," and
Yep.
just like, and I'm like, this was
That's awesome.
my
The
artifact.
artifact is so helpful, right? Because you can write all the
Yes.
words down and you're in your head. You find an artifact, you connect your heart, you drop into your heart and you go, wait a minute. Oh, like, when I'm at my best, I'm like cheerleading people on, my heart's open, right? This is me at my best. At my worst, I'm staring at my phone and only worried about myself. Right. And those artifacts, well, I had this earlier, right? My dancing
Oh,
dog,
your little doll. She's
she
so
was
cute.
flowing, right? And I love this color. Clearly, with my back, you can tell I like this color, right? It's my
Right.
happy place. But
Yeah.
if for everyone, just reflect on, when are you least effective and when are you most effective, and what are the qualities, characteristics, thoughts? We talked a lot about thoughts today that inform who you are in that moment. Because I can tell you, as much as I want to be the best mother on the planet, there are days when I am Not very nice. Not very patient. I'm in
We
pain, I'm anxious, I'm pissed, right? "Rawr, what do you need right now?" What did she do? She just wanted to talk to her mother, right? And I'm like,
right.
"Rawr, I
And
don't wanna
and
be," so you gotta know that stuff about yourself.
yeah, and we found that that was a theme, wasn't it? That those of us
Mhm.
who we get in that stress, we do get angry, we get mad at the world, we get sharp
Yep.
toned, and it's just and see, and like Julie said, her artifact was her sunglasses because she has blinders on when she's at her worst.
Oh, yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah,
Yeah, Julie was rocking the sunglasses today. That was
yeah,
amazing.
exactly.
Yeah,
And she was while she was being really close with her husband while he was going through treatment. So
exactly.
glad
Yeah.
you heard Julie say hi to Kenny. Um,
Mhm.
so when we let me see if there's someplace else up here. Um, what does Winetta say? So I guess I think of burnout like addition, addition. When you start to realize the negative consequences of your addiction. When you start to realize the negative consequences of your behavior, for example, living in stress for a prolonged period. Yeah. Because it does kind of you get in the habit. You get
Yes.
into that yeah, thanks, Winetta, addiction. You get in that habit of being in that space, and that almost becomes like your go back to space, right? I'm gonna go back here because I can hide. I'm gonna go back here because no one can bother me here.
Mhm.
Everybody stand 2 feet away from me because, I'm a cactus.
Mhm.
Back
Yeah.
off, right?
I
Yeah,
think, Juaneta's comment is really important too because I do believe I have a work addiction. I know that that's why I burnt out in my corporate life, and I felt that part of that work addiction was I was addicted to being useful and valuable and helpful, needed, right? I wanted to be respected, and I think that I see that a lot in the lipedema community too, because we wanna help, and the thing I loved about Catherine when I first met her, I called her to thank her, like, "How can I help?" Right? And she was like, "Lisa, you've had this disease your whole life and you've known about it for a couple of months. What are you doing to be okay? You can help later. Right now, no help. Take care of you." And I think it was such a beautiful gift to me because I just wanted to be in action. There's like an addiction to busyness or work for me. And I think the reason I like talking about burnout so much is I'm reminding myself every time we're in a conversation, right? So getting clear on your values, getting clear on what matters most right now, that usually tends to have me just take a moment to pause. So thank you, Juanetta, because I do believe that runs rampant for people.
yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we also noticed with our conversations today is that all of us, in some way, need to make a connection.
Mhm.
Need to because when we're at our least effective, we isolate. When we're at our least effective, we become lonely.
Mhm.
So we withdraw, we hide. When we're most effective, we're joyful, we're social in some way. I'm not saying that we're all social butterflies. I'm not saying that, you're not
We're
Lisa
more
and Gail
open, right?
who can just, talk to anybody in the grocery store because I know people can't do that. I
Mhm.
can, but not everybody can. Um, but but we have some social connection. We have a person or two or a group that we feel connected to who understand us, who we can either vent to or we can hold them while they vent.
Mhm.
And we found that that connection was the was the common theme that made it so we had our confidence and our courage and our joy back was a connection.
Mhm.
And I'm going to take this and lead us into Lipedema Awareness Month.
Oh, I'm so excited. Yes, please. Talk about burnout prevention. Let's
Right,
talk about Lipedema Awareness Month and how we can support each other. Yes,
right.
yes, yes.
So
Oh, wait, sorry, did I get excited,
You're
Gail?
wiping boy, Gail, you went a long ways to get to lipidema
I
awareness.
got very excited.
So so one of the things that we've been doing last year, we had this wonderful event that we called at the time Tribers at the Table. And it's because we change our names all the time around here. We keep trying to get it to fit what's really there. Well, we were Tribers at the table at the time, and it was a tremendous success. I mean, it was it. We were going to have four. We were going to have one each Saturday of the month of June, which is Lipedema Awareness Month. So, like Siobhan was going to have one, I was going to have one, Catherine was going to have one, and I think 80. I mean, so there were four across the country. We ended up with 18 because people said when we started talking about it, people were like, "Oh, I want to host one of those.
Mhm.
Oh, I want to host one of those." And so what happened was by the time that June was over, our calendar kept growing and we ended up with 18 events where people got together and saw each other in person and like face to face, heart to heart, around a table, like a circle around a table. So this year we are calling it the Lipedema Awareness Month event is going to be called Heart to Heart Tribe Circles Gatherings. We're going to have gatherings of people, and we don't know where they're all going to be because you guys, the community, is going to host them. Okay, so all of be thinking about where you are. Be thinking about if you don't want to host one, who might be close to you that you might want to go be with or co-host one. Be watching us, and the best way to get involved is to send an email to support at Lipedema Simplified. Oh, Lipedema hyphen.
Mhm.
I always forget the hyphen.
While you're typing, I'm gonna say I'm so excited. I'm in Portland, so anyone near Portland, I'm gonna be hosting one. I'm so excited about it. And what we're doing right now is we're taking everybody who wants to host. Let us know. We're building the registration page so everybody can sign up and know dates and times and all the good stuff. But if you're in the Pacific Northwest, anywhere near Portland, Juanetta, it might be too far, but I want to dance too at the table. I don't know. We'll see. Juanetta and I are always talking about how dance feels good. I mean, I'm not
Never
what I
know.
was at
You
20,
got
but I can chair dance. I can just sit
you
here and
got a sturdy enough table. I might be on the table.
I'm like, yeah, that sounded funny. I might chair dance, whatever. But
Right.
Portland, if you're in Portland, come see me. I'm going to host.
That's
And
what
Gail,
it's
where
going
are
to
you
be.
hosting?
I'm going to be hosting in Boise, Idaho. We are not going to host on the same date, though.
Because we're too close to each other.
No, because I can't get to Portland on the
Oh,
same date that I'm hosting. I got to host in Boise.
right. Yeah, fair
You're
enough.
only, you're only 6 hours from me.
I know. We should meet in the middle and make it a whole thing. But yes, so Portland, Boise, Denver, Boston,
Denver.
all kinds of stuff.
Actually, Siobhan's going to host one in Boulder.
Boulder, awesome.
And I think
Yes.
that Kristen's going to hold one in Sacramento.
Sacramento, right? Yeah.
And I can tell you that there are other people who have already talked. Uh, Fort Lauderdale, Bertha and
Yes,
Sharon
right?
want to hold one in
Yep.
Fort Lauderdale. Be expecting some of them up in Canada, the UK. I know that Carrie will hold one in Perth. I know Fiona's going to hold one in New Zealand. We might have people holding them in Melbourne.
Mm-hmm.
So the what happens is people want to hold these things. We will make sure that you have a handout, that you have a worksheet, some type of a guide, and we'll make sure that you can promote it. So you will have links, and we'll promote it with you throughout the whole entire um, community, our tens of thousands of outreach emails that we have. Will know all about this.
Yeah, and Tamara wants to know when we'll have the information. I think we'll know next week, Tamara. Right now, I don't think we have Tennessee yet, Paige.
And
But
even
you
if
know
we
what? We
did,
can have 2 in Tennessee, whatever. The
we can
more the
have,
merrier, right?
yeah.
But when we have it all together, what's going to happen is an email will go out. We'll share the links on our lives. Look at me, Gail. I'm on Gail's live. I'm the friend today.
I forgot about okay, this is what it's called. This is what it's called. It's gonna be called Heart to Heart Tribe Circles Gatherings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
And
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Yep.
So you'll be getting more and more information about this. But really, what's important for you is you need to let us know that you're interested. We are just right now getting it finished, tightened up so that we can start getting the information out there. What was interesting last year, and I think we'll probably do the same this year, is we started with the 4. And as people found their location, because you find a location, whether it's a park bench, like a pavilion in a park, whether depending on the weather and the location, whether it's a coffee shop, someplace where you can gather. You decide on a date, you find a location, you find a time, and you tell us. And you send it with support. However, we need to know that you're interested first. So send
Yep.
support at lipedema-simplified.org and start reaching out and saying, I'm interested in the gatherings for
Mhm.
Lipedema Awareness Month. We decided this year what we really want to do is we want to make sure that people get together and make connections because that's how the word of lipedema spreads. I mean, the only way that we're able to do this is it's word of mouth, right? And it's reaching out to people. That's how we're getting the traction and we're getting people understanding lipedema is real. We have it. It's a real thing and we're here. And so you can even to the point where I keep thinking, I wonder if there are like medical facilities that have like
Like conference rooms.
conference rooms. How
Mhm.
hold it like I've got St. Alphonsus Medical Center. Maybe we should hold it in their big conference room, right?
Right.
Hide all
Hmm.
the docs. You wanna hear about lipedema? You wanna talk about it. But then that's not necessarily a safe space for our ladies with lipedema coming in. You
Yeah,
know?
Gail's like on the edge, like, listen, I'm gonna push the envelope. We're gonna educate while we walk down the
Well,
hallways, right? But
I'll I'll
yeah,
tell you
I think it's whatever the host is
yeah,
comfortable with.
it
Mhm.
is. And what I did last year with I had my postcards, and what I did last year is I wrote all, made sure I had my information on the back and everything. And I was going to so many medical appointments with Guy, and I was laying them on all the tops of all the little tables with the lamps, all the end
Yep.
tables. And they were all over there. Like I didn't ask permission. I just dropped them everywhere I went. It was like somebody else was going to have to pick them up. And then I saw Shh. I saw a receptionist get up from her desk and lipedema waddle over to someplace else, and I just slid that postcard on top of her desk, and I just kept walking, and I thought, "Oh, I hope I don't hurt her feelings, but honey, come see me," you know? If
Mhm.
anything, it might have planted a seed,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? Might have
I
planted
think
a
this is so important. I was at Lane Bryant today on a break, and of course, they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm making videos for lipedema." What's lipedema? I was like, well, I'm in Lane Bryant. These people need to know what lipedema is, right? My eye doctor knows. I tell everybody. It's part of my healing process is just
yeah,
talking about it. But
yeah,
Gail, I think there's one other thing I wanted to ask you about, which is so yes, if you want to host, send the email. We're about to send the registrations out. The other thing is I know that one of the ways to prevent burnout through community is to be of service to each other. And I know
yes,
there's a drive right now to update our provider portal, which is,
yeah,
by the way, how I found my doctor and how I refer people when they want, like, they're always in Facebook groups going, how do I find a doctor? And I'm like, this directory has been around for over 10 years. This is the oldest lipedema provider directory, with the most robust things in here, from physicians to surgeons to CLTs, alternative medicines, etc. And I think the ask right now is, please go to the directory and update it with people you like and trust. So
right,
other patients that figure out they have lipedema have a place to go. It's
mhm,
very robust. It shows the whole world, right? I mean, this is a
it
global
does.
resource.
So this is I just underneath us, I put the URL. However, I did put it in the comments as well. So just click on that link. But even if you can't, if for whatever reason, all you have to do is go to our website, Lipedema Simplified, and we have a provider directory right there. Just look in that or Lipedema Project. Look in the provider directory. It's on one of the tabs. But we really want it, if you have someone you vetted who you say, oh my gosh, and it's not just doctors. We
Mhm.
want we want therapists. We want even occupational therapists who know about
Yeah.
lipedema, and vein specialists, whoever you have. Um, and sorry, Tamra says, I just saw a doc from that directory, and she's so pleased.
Whoop whoop. Right, Tamara? How good did it feel for you to go in there and have a good experience? Because we're vetting for each other and we're supporting each other. I feel like the burnout of the stress that people feel to try and get a diagnosis, or a doctor who gets it, or a physical therapist who can help, right? This is the greatest gift we can give each other when it comes to finding a doctor who understands.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I have
So
more to say about advocacy, but I love this directory. It's so helpful.
it's so funny because it's like you and I, Lisa, are like, oh yeah, this is my show, but Lisa, it's yours at the same time. So I'm glad you're here being here. You know?
I'm so used to podcasting with Catherine on Monday, and I'm a host, right? So yes,
Okay.
I'll get in my lane, Gail. Here I go.
No,
I'll be
it's
quiet.
okay. Hey, I don't care. You can interview me if you want to. We're sisters in this.
No,
Um,
it's awesome. Thank you.
it's all good because I know you. I know that one of the things you always say is that we have to honor each other's time, and we also have to honor the time of the audience. So I'm going to go through one more time. I'm going to go through the comments. Um, I want to bring Tamara up. She says, it was amazing. She is 2.5 hours from me, but it was so wonderful. Her whole staff understood and was encouraging. Um,
That's so awesome.
yeah. Oh, and then as far as um, so Marilee says she's ready to attend the she's in Chehalis. It's up by Seattle
Mm-hmm.
right
Marilee,
now.
let's make it happen. Let's
Yeah.
make it happen.
But and then here's the final word from Tamra. It's so nice to not have to educate the doctor.
Mm, right? Well, imagine a world when we all get to say that, right? That what Tamara's experience is that for everyone. That's the world I want to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome, Tamara. I'm so glad.
Yeah. So and Tamara's all excited too. So she's like,
Oh, that's
so
great.
you have to email the host. Okay. Ladies, gentlemen, everybody who's out there today listening and watching, and anybody who's watching the replays, one of the things you have to remember, if you're watching this live, you can share. You can share this it's shareable everywhere you go. Um, Share it on all your social media. Follow us. Give us some thumbs up and some hearts. You know what those things look like. We've had a rousing conversation today. As always, me and Lisa, we get into each other and go for it. And just remember that we're here for you, Lisa. I always end my broadcast with offering my guest um, a moment of reflection or a moment of sharing, and I ask them the question: if there's one thing that you would like to have echoed around the world, what would that be?
Mm. Only one thing, Gail?
No.
Okay. One thing.
If you have a message.
Well, based on what we talked about today, you can bounce back you can reboot from burnout. It is not permanent, and you have to take responsibility and do something about it, right? Don't just stay in cynicism and depression and fatigue and isolation. If you're feeling burnt out with lipedema, we're here. Come join us. I mean, I think that's a really important statement given the burnout topic we had today. So I'll stay in that lane for now.
Okay.
And I'd like to send love to everyone. I just love this community so much. And it is life-giving to me. It is not depleting, it is resourceful.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Thank
And
you.
and to the audience who has been so open and warm and sharing and willing to be part of this community with us and excited about our upcoming month of June. Let's make June like a big bouquet of flowers. That's
Mhm.
how I picture it. I picture like all these. I picture a map and everyone that's there like a flower, and we just have this big old mat of flowers.
I love it.
And so with that, yeah, yeah, it's actually really good to know that burnout isn't permanent.
Mhm.
That we can
There
turn
are
around.
things we can do.
Yeah,
Much like lipedema, we can do things about lipedema too.
yeah.
Yeah.
With that, I love you all, and I hope you have a wonderful night, morning, wherever you're coming to us from.